A storm moves over Los Angeles in the early hours of the morning, the kind that feels heavy even before the rain begins. Most of the city sleeps, but a few scattered lights glow in alleys and on empty streets. That's when the sky tears open with a burst of white light and electricity, like something forcing its way through a place it doesn't belong. When the light fades, a man stands crouched on the pavement. His expression doesn't change even as the wind dies down. He looks human, but there's something unsettling about how still he is, how deliberate each movement becomes. He rises and scans the area as if searching for a target rather than taking in the world. Not far away, two construction workers joking around by their truck notice the stranger. They get a closer look, realize he's completely naked, and their amusement fades. The stranger steps forward as though the cold doesn't matter, as though nothing matters except what he intends to do next. One of the workers tries to act tough, but the man barely reacts. The stranger's eyes fix on him, calculating. Moments later, the workers are scattered on the ground and the stranger walks away wearing fresh clothes he has taken by force. He moves with a mechanical certainty, heading toward the heart of the city. Across town, another flash of light erupts behind a garbage truck. This time, the man who appears looks younger, thinner, and very different from the first. He rolls to the ground in pain, coughing as if the trip through time ripped something out of him. He takes in his surroundings, confused for only a moment before urgency consumes him. He scrambles for cover just as police cars approach, drawn by the noise. Unlike the other traveler, he hides instead of confronting anyone. He's resourceful and cautious, making fast decisions even while disoriented. The police spot him and assume he's a vagrant. He runs, dodging through alleys until he finds a clothing store's delivery door left ajar. He grabs clothes, Chan. Shots slam through the club, shattering glass and sending people diving for the floor. The music cuts out mid-beat, replaced by screams and the sharp echo of gunfire. Sarah drops behind a table as the two men exchange blasts across the crowded room. The stranger takes the hits without slowing down, moving with the same steady pace as before. Reese fires again and again, trying to knock him off balance, but the stranger absorbs the impact and keeps advancing toward Sarah. Reese grabs her by the arm and pulls her toward the back exit. She resists at first, panicked and confused, but the look on his face makes her realize he isn't trying to hurt her. They reach the alley behind the club, and Reese forces her behind a dumpster just as the stranger bursts through the door. Reese fires point blank, knocking him off his feet long enough to get Sarah running. They jump into a stolen car Reese had hidden nearby and speed off while the stranger rises again in the alley, unfazed. Inside the car, Sarah trembles, trying to make sense of what just happened. Reese drives fast but controlled, constantly checking the mirrors. She asks who he is and why he's following her. He tells her he isn't the one she should worry about. The man chasing her isn't a man. He calls it a Terminator, a machine built for one thing. Sarah struggles to believe him, but Reese's urgency, and the memory of the unstoppable man in the club, makes her listen. Reese explains that the Terminator came from the future, sent back in time to kill her before she can have a child that will lead a resistance against the machines. Sarah shakes her head, unable to absorb the idea that her future son would matter to anyone, let alone to a future war. Reese tells her about the world he came from, a landscape of ruins where machines hunt humans day and night. He grew up in hiding, moving through tunnels and rubble, always running. Sarah starts to understand that for him, the Terminator isn't a horror story. It's reality. The streets are nearly empty as Reese drives them deeper into the industrial side of the city. Sarah holds her arms tightly against her chest, replaying the chaos inside the police station. She keeps expecting sirens or helicopters, but the night is strangely quiet. Reese tells her the police will regroup, but they won't be able to stop the machine. Not with what they have. Not with what they believe. They pull into the shadow of an old factory loading dock. Reese kills the engine and listens for several seconds before speaking. He tells Sarah they need to rest for a moment, just long enough to catch their breath and plan their next move. Sarah sinks down beside a stack of metal crates and tries to steady herself. She feels the weight of everything she's heard. A future war. A son she hasn't met. Machines built to wipe out her kind. It's too much. But she can't deny the truth anymore. Reese tears strips of cloth from his shirt and wraps a burn on his arm. Sarah notices the scars covering him, thin lines, burns, jagged marks that look like they came from a world without safety or mercy. She sits beside him, talking softly, asking how he managed to survive long enough to reach her. He tells her he didn't have a choice. In his world, the machines controlled the skies with drones and hunter-killers. Humans lived underground, only coming out at night. Food was scarce. Safety didn't exist. When he mentions her son, she sits up straighter. She wants to understand who this child will become. Reese hesitates, then tells her the name, John. He describes him as a leader who taught people to fight back, who united those who had given up and led them out of the shadows. Sarah listens quietly, unsure how to absorb the idea that she, a waitress barely scraping by, could be the mother of someone like that. Reese tells her something more personal. John Connor didn't just lead him. He saved him. He taught him how to fight, how to survive the raids, how to stay human in a world that. The morning air feels heavy when Sarah and Reese leave the motel. They pack quickly, grabbing the homemade explosives and whatever supplies Reese managed to gather. Sarah still doesn't know where they should go, only that movement feels safer than staying still. Reese keeps scanning the street, tense and alert, as if expecting the Terminator to step out from behind any parked car. They climb into a pickup truck Reese finds nearby. Sarah is behind the wheel this time while Reese watches the mirrors. He tells her they need to find a place where they can move fast if the machine catches up, somewhere with cover and machinery they can use to their advantage. Sarah nods and drives toward the outskirts of the city, trying to ignore the knot in her stomach. But the Terminator is already close. It reaches the motel not long after they leave and finds the empty room. It analyzes the scene, comparing footprints and tire marks, calculating the direction they went. With mechanical precision, it steals a motorcycle and charges down the same road Sarah and Reese took. On the highway, Sarah starts to feel safer. Reese allows himself a breath too, until he hears the distant whine of an engine approaching fast. He turns sharply, spotting the motorcycle gaining on them. He shouts for Sarah to stay steady and grabs one of the pipe bombs from the floorboard. The machine pulls up behind them and fires with calm accuracy. Bullets punch through the truck's tailgate and slam into the interior. Sarah jerks the wheel, dodging through traffic, while Reese climbs halfway out the window to throw a bomb. The first one misses. The second lands close but doesn't stop the machine. The Terminator weaves between cars, always gaining. Reese throws another explosive. This time it connects. A fireball erupts behind them as the motorcycle flips, sending the machine tumbling across the pavement. Sarah floors the gas, but the truck loses control and crashes off the road. The airbags don't exist in TH.